So you're looking to buy yourself an S550 Mustang. Not only is it one of the greatest Mustang platforms of all time, I would argue it's one of the greatest platforms, period, of all time. Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, make sure you go down and leave a like, subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video. Today we're going to be talking about the S550 platform. Behind me right here is my 2019 Mustang GT Premium. We'll talk about what all of that means in a second. This is a buyer's guide to help you choose what S550 would be best for you, your budget, and your needs of a Mustang. The S550 is currently the newest Mustang that you can go out and buy. The S650 Mustang platform has been released, but we won't see deliveries until next year or potentially the year after. The S550 platform started in 2015 and it has ended in 2023. Let's talk about the 2015 to 2017 Mustang. That is the Gen 2 Coyote. We'll talk about what Gen 2 Coyote means in just a second. But there were 4 different Mustangs that were launched during this period of time. There was the very base model, which was a V6 Mustang. The V6 Mustang was produced from 2015 to 2017. There's no more V6 Mustangs in production. Then there was the turbo 4-cylinder EcoBoost. It was a 2.3 making 314 horsepower. It made about 10 more horsepower than the V6 Mustang did. They made that from 2015 to current day. They still make the 2.3 liter turbo 4-cylinder Mustangs called the EcoBoost. That is the base model now of the Mustang. Then there came the GT. The GT is the 5.0 V8 that made 440 horsepower. Those 5.0 Mustangs in the GTs were dubbed the Gen 2 Coyote. Essentially what that means, it's the second generation of the 5.0 Coyote motor. These cars are based off of the Coyote platform, a nickname kind of given to these 5.0 motors. The Gen 1 Coyote came in the S197 platform, which was the platform that came before the S550. In 2015, they used the same platform built on top of it to build a better motor and a better version of the Coyote dubbed the Gen 2 Coyote. But it's the earliest generation of the S550. A little hard to follow at first, but you kind of will pick it up. Then there was a 4th model that was released in 2016. That was the Shelby GT350 and 350R with the 5.2 liter V8 flat plane crank that revs to 8,200 RPM and 520 horsepower. Thing is an absolute beast. It is dubbed one of the greatest Mustangs ever built. They ended production in 2020. It got a facelift, which we'll talk about in a second here. So back then there were a couple of different trim options as well as a couple of different transmission options. Let's talk about those real quick. So in the Mustangs there is the base model and there's the premium. Essentially with the premium you get the bigger screen, you get the heated cooled seats, you get leather seats. A couple of different options actually let you get Alcantara suede seats. I believe that came later in the facelift. My car has those. Apple CarPlay was launched in the Mustangs in 2017, but you can do an updated sync system if you do have the upgraded premium screen and infotainment system. You can kind of use the new technology and update your screen somehow to get Apple CarPlay in the older ones. There is a big difference between the base model and the premiums. I would suggest if you're looking to daily drive it or even just practically use it on a consistent basis, I would get a premium no matter what. Overall, it's a much nicer place to be. And for transmission options, you get a 6-speed manual transmission or a 6-speed automatic transmission. So in 2018, Ford decided let's do a facelift to the Mustang. They put a new upgraded motor. They changed some internals, essentially cranking the horsepower up from 440 to 460. A little horsepower difference, not too major though. Now there was a 10-speed automatic transmission available, as well as the 6-speed MT82 that remained from the generations before. Sidebar real quick, the GT350 actually did not have the MT82. They had the Tremec transmission, which is a much stronger and better transmission than the MT82s are. MT82s aren't horrible, but there have been some known reliability issues. If you want to see a video on that, here's my thoughts on that. But back to the video. The 6-speed manual remained with these Mustangs. Mine is a 6-speed car. A couple of other changes came with that. The rear lights changed a little bit, the front headlights changed a little bit, the front bumper changed a little bit, the rear bumper and valence changed a little bit. Very small differences between the two. You start picking them up once you kind of look at the cars and you can tell whether or not it's a facelift or a non-facelift. Along with that, in the interior, you get a digital dash as an option. My car does not have the digital dash option. They're a little harder to find with it, but they're out there. They do cost a little bit more though, because that is a in-demand option. A couple of different other things came. I believe my car has like the Alcantara suede seats, which wasn't available before with the carbon dash package. A couple of options came that weren't available before. Then in 2020 came the GT500. The GT500 is essentially the biggest, baddest version of the Mustang you can get. Supercharged 5.2 liter, 760 horsepower, comes optional with carbon fiber wing, carbon fiber wheels. The thing is a monster. The GT500 is faster than a Lamborghini Huracan Evo around the Nürburgring, which is absolutely insane to think about. It comes with a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, only available in automatic. I've had the opportunity to drive one and ride in a couple of them as well. They are extremely fun and worth the money. Sub $100,000, one of the quickest cars that money can buy. In the Mustang GTs, there were also optional Performance Pack and Performance Pack 2 options. You guys have probably been waiting to hear this. Performance Pack 2, you get Brembo brakes, you get upgraded suspension bits and stuff like that. Just small minor details to make the car more performance oriented. You also don't get the boring Pirelli all-season tires, and you get actual Michelin, I believe, Pilot Sport Cups or something along that extent, to some sporty tires that you can actually use like that. Then the Performance Pack 2 is actually replaced by the Mach 1. I believe 2021 was the first year for the Mustang Mach 1. In the Mach 1, they changed a couple of things. They changed the transmissions to the Tremix, which is a major upgrade. They also put a GT350 intake on it, a GT500 rear cradle. It was kind of like a parts car that was put together, got Performance Pack 2 suspension, magnetic ride dampening suspension, and overall, it's a really solid car. They're $65,000. That price is nearly GT350 price. If you're looking for a more daily driver practical car, if that even makes sense, the Mach 1 makes a lot of sense. If you're looking for a weekend car, which most likely the Mach 1 is going to be anyways, I would go with the GT350. I understand they're slightly more unreliable and they have a couple of problems, but it's just so much cooler and so much better. I haven't driven a Mach 1, I've been around a couple of them. I've driven a couple of GT350s, and those cars are amazing. They say it's one of the best Mustangs ever made, and I would have to agree. Talking about the GT350, that car actually got a little bit of a facelift in 2019. That car got the Gen 2 Voodoo. The Voodoo is the motor that is in the 350. These are Coyotes, that's a Voodoo. The Voodoo got a 2.0 refresh, and they updated the internals, made them more reliable, and they made the build quality a little better. I believe they upgraded some colors as well. They put a couple of different infotainment options on the inside. Overall, just a kind of better facelift. So if you're looking to get a 350, I'd swing towards the 2.0 Voodoos, because in most cases, a lot of the original 350s, the 2017s to 2018s, actually ended up blowing motors and were replaced with 2.0 Voodoo cars. That might push you away from buying a GT350, but do your due diligence and look up and actually research what you're buying. But just know that the 2.0 Voodoo was an option, and that did happen, and they did get better. So either way, they're fantastic cars. Just make sure you have your research and you know what you're going to get yourself into. Also, convertibles are available, 5.0 and EcoBoost, either way you want to go. But what car should you buy? What one is right for you? Let's talk about that. What would I recommend? What I stay away from? What is right for you? That's why you came to this video, so let's talk about that. If you have the money to swing to a facelift with the 3rd generation Coyote, a 2018 plus car, that's my suggestion. On top of that, I suggest you getting a premium. If you can swing the money for a 3rd generation Coyote premium, that's the way I would go. In my world, I would never see a place where I would buy an EcoBoost. I could see why people would buy them, because they're a little bit cheaper. They don't really get too much more gas mileage. The EcoBoost motors are halfway decent motors. People say you can tune them to make them as fast as 5.0s. And the reason why you can tune them to make them comparable to a stock 5.0 is because they're turboed from factory. So you already have a boosted car. I've heard that before, where EcoBoost people say that I could have a car fast as your 5.0. My EcoBoost is lighter around the front end, so around the track it'll be a little bit lighter. If you're planning to do performance driving, there's not a point in buying an EcoBoost, because the 5.0 is just greater in every way. This thing sings to 7,000 plus RPM. Throw it down to third. At 450 horsepower-ish between the averages of the Gen 1 and Gen 2 from factory. They push anywhere between 370 wheel on the low end to about 410 to 420 on the high end from factory stock. And I understand people do buy EcoBoost because eventually they want to step into one of these. That's the reason why the EcoBoost is available. If you're looking to build a crazy off-the-walls car, they say the Gen 2s are better for holding boost. Turbo superchargers, they say the Gen 2s are better. The Gen 3 is still an amazing platform. I've seen people make 900 plus wheel horsepower in the Gen 3s. So either way, you can't really go bad. If you're looking to do a lot of spirited driving and you want a very solid, hardcore, reliable car that you can push all the time and you have $60,000 burning a hole in your pocket, but you also would like to drive the car a decent amount on a daily basis, the Mach 1 is perfect for that. The GT350 is not perfect for daily driving on an everyday basis, you know, taking from work to school to work to the gym to do all of your different daily things. I think the Mach 1 is more suited for that. It's a little bit more tame than the 350 is. The 350 is the perfect weekend back roads track weapon. It's an awesome car. I've driven a couple, like I said before. It is one of the best cars I've driven. It's so fun. The motors sound amazing. If you just want the fastest possible Mustang you can buy, you have $100,000 to spend. The only thing you could go with would be the GT500. That's all I have for this video though. If you did enjoy, if you did learn something, if I helped you out in any way, go down and help me out and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.